Oh, well, that went live quick. Usually I have to push live twice. How come I had to push it only one time today? Wow. Look at StreamYard updating their services. Good morning. I'm like putting on my lipstick. Next thing I know, it says stream is live. Wait, no, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Y'all caught me mid preparation. I'm ready though. I'm here. I'm here. Yes, I'm here. Yes, I'm here. Good morning. How's everybody today? It's Wednesday. It's hump day. Y'all remember those commercials where it was really where it was I'll get to that screen. I noticed something, but I ain't gonna talk about it yet because it's a part of my morning talk. I ain't trying to jump at it too fast. All right. Y'all remember those commercials about Hump Day? Hump Day. That was a good little Camel commercial. I thought that was a really good idea. Sometimes you have the good marketing commercial. Sometimes not so much. Sometimes they go really well, but I thought the camel walking through the office on Hump Day was a good one. I thought that was a really good commercial set up right there. We're running a little bit late this morning, but it is Wednesday, FOMC day. So if you know a little bit about that, we'll talk about it. If you don't know nothing about that, we'll still talk about it a little bit, right? We'll still talk about it, talk about it, talk about it. Ooh, baby. Yeah, we're still going to talk about it. All right, let's look at the chart real quick. See where we currently are. I'm Arlissa, by the way, in case you were wondering, in case you stumbled upon this page. I'm Arlissa. This is our pre-market prep in the seller zone. You are in the seller zone. Yes, we're option sellers. I coach option sellers on cash secure puts, covered calls, and credit spreads. Yes, that's what we do here. On Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I come on and we do a pre-market prep to talk about what we maybe be seeing, what we might see in the market for the day. Kind of look at what happened the previous day, what could be coming up for the current day, and just see if there's some opportunity for us to capture a few things out of it. Okay. All righty, all righty. Looking at SPX 500, which is the way we can see SPX in the post market and the pre market, currently at 56.29. I think we closed yesterday around 56.10 or 56.15, something like that, 10 or 15. I think we closed 56.05, I think it was. Yeah, 56.05. So at this point, we're kind of at a gap up. We still got about 40 minutes. Yeah, about 40 minutes before the market opens. So, anything can happen in 40 minutes, but just know that at this point, we're a little bit higher than we closed yesterday. There was a lot of moving yesterday, only to see, and one of the people in my membership mentioned this yesterday, that SPX actually opened and closed within $1 of itself yesterday. Let me bring it over here. I'm not sure if y'all can see it. I'll make it as big as possible. But the open and close yesterday is this candle here, this green one. I'll bring it. There we go. This green one right here in the middle of the screen. This is the open and close of yesterday where my mouse is. And it basically, let me look at that. I want to be exact. It opened at 56.05 and it closed at 56.06. $1. Can you say manipulation? Yeah, because we went all the way up as high as 56.49 and we went down as low as 55.86. It says went down as low as 55.86, but we opened and closed right about the same place. Hmm. Yeah. There's that. All right. I won't go more into that because it ain't even worth talking about, to be honest. Because it ain't nothing you can do about it but trade what you see. Y'all know my rule of my slogan or motto or whatever you want to call it for when we trade is we trade what we see. Trade what you see. So this is what yesterday looked like. If you're looking at yesterday on the chart, this is what it looked like yesterday. Let me turn off some stuff. That way it won't be as crowded on here. So that way it won't be as much to look at. But the cloud looking thing is my VWAP, volume weighted average price is my VWAP, and it danced above. VWAP is the blue line in the middle, went up, came back down a little bit below VWAP and came back up. The price likes to revert to the mean. This is some statistics for you. The price likes to revert to the mean. It likes to stay around the mean. So when it's dancing, that's what it's doing. My dotted lines are my opening range for my opening range breakout there. And it closed, like I said, at 56.06, but it opened right around there, 56. Well, it didn't open here, but they count. Anyway, I'm not going through that. So this is what it looked like yesterday. There's that. Janae said that's the coiling and consolidation. Yes, basically coiling, consolidation, basically getting tightness, like the tightening of a coil, so that when it does get ready to move, whether that's up or down, it's got the power to move. If you think about, if you spin a top and you spin it up really, really tight, a yo-yo, I mean, there's so many different things you can use, but when you tighten it up really tight and then when you release it, it goes shoom, a spring, same thing. So SPX has been coiling and getting tighter, so that when it moves, it's going to move. So today we do have FOMC is going to release their statement today at 2:00. We're going to talk about whether or not we're changing the interest rates. Are we holding steady? What's? Of course, that FOMC statement at 2:00 today always causes a great bit of volatility. Always. Can you say always? It says red folder. They really should put like 2 or 3 of these red folders, because this ain't the same red folder as unemployment claims. These two things look like they might be the same, but they not like us. This is not the same thing, okay? One of these things is not like the other. FOMC statement will cause a whole lot more volatility. And this may be what, SPX is coiling, so that way it can move for something like a FOMC statement. So as sellers, or even as buyers, as options traders, let's just go with the overall scheme. As options traders, you want to be wise leading up to the FOMC statement, and then you wait till you see the statement, get a direction, and then ride the direction. All righty. That's my, I don't give investment advice because I'm not an investment advisor, but I've watched enough FOMC statements to know that you ride the wave after the morning, after they release the statement. That's when you ride the wave. Okay. Ride the wave. This is what's going on today. 10:30, we got crude oil inventory, which is probably about an orange folder, not really yellow. 2:00, which is everybody will kind of be pausing until then. Everything's probably going to look real choppy until FOMC. Maybe it won't, maybe it will. A lot of times it does. People kind of just, the volume's kind of low. The price just kind of languishes while it's waiting for the information to come at 2 and 2:30. Press conference comes at 2:30. Statement comes at 2:00. 3:00, we've got consumer credit. We'll see what happens there. All right. The VIX right now, though, is at 24.61. VIX is up a bit, which means the market is down a bit. We've seen that be the case, but the market is also appears to be setting up for a nice little move back up. We bumped up into 5,700 a couple days ago. What today? Wednesday. We bumped into it on Monday, and then we looked around in the room and said, okay, it's all right up here. Let me go on back, collect my friends, go on and get my people together. Hey, Carla. And then let me go on and go back. So I'm sure SPX will be back, right? I'll be back. That's what SPX said on Monday after it left 5,700 and didn't go over there and stay. It basically was like, I'll be back. I'll be back. Look for me because I'll be back. Okay. Fed rate cuts like Trump tariffs look to be on a 90-day pause. I have a huge level of respect for the Jerome. He's got a tough job, right? Everybody who ain't sitting in the seat got ideas of how it should be done, and that's usually the way things work, right? You're not the person who's doing it, but you got all kind of ideas of how it should be done. That's usually what happens. So Jerome been doing this job for a minute. We're just gonna let him do what he do in this tumultuous streets. Our president ain't necessarily helping his job, but Jerome trying to keep us in the road, and it's what it is, right? It's just what it is. Good morning, Ward. Fed rate cuts. Okay, the delay gives the Fed room to breathe and permission to do nothing but watch. And which sometimes, well, I always tell y'all, watching is a strategy. Yeah, we can be trading stuff and doing stuff, but watching, seeing what it looked like, that's a strategy. And if you've never traded FOMC and you're not sure what happens during FOMC, watch. Then just watch. Watch, take notes, see what price action look like, see what it does beforehand, see what it does after the announcements, watch how the candles go bananas for a little while, then watch how it picks a direction and goes with it. Watch. It's all right if you don't trade on this one. There will be another one and another one and another one. Okay. The market ain't going nowhere. All right. Ain't going nowhere. Don't let FOMO get you. Don't let FOMO get you out here in these streets. And then after it's all over, you're like, I wish I had. Don't do that to yourself. Okay. Good morning, my day. Don't do that. Okay. U.S. stock futures rise with U.S. China talks, Fed in focus. Drug companies, Trump's price idea could cost us $1 trillion. Okay. China keeps adding gold to the reserves as challenges stack up. Disney beats on profit as streaming and parks shine. Novo Nordisk stock pops on weight loss drug hopes. That must be him. Hims is up 18%. Okay. Sales of Tesla's China-made EVs fall 6% as the woes deepen. EU eyes tariffs on Boeing jets in retaliation plan. Low-cost carriers hit hardest by the trade war demand slump. Uber stock slides despite strong showing amid dizzying backdrop. Netflix debuts its generative AI-powered search tool. Okay. All right, let's keep going. I think I hit, here we go. This is what I want to talk about. Disney announces an Abu Dhabi theme park and resort in Abu Dhabi. Now, I went to Disney in China, in Shanghai. I used to live in China, for those who didn't know that. I lived in China for 3 years, and we used to go to the Disney area. It was real nice, very nice. It gave you a real comfortable American feel, even though Americans don't own Disney, they own a part. When you get over in them China streets, they don't let you own their stuff. You can own a part, but you cannot own the major part. Oh no, unlike here in America, where we'll sell you anything you want to buy. But you go over into China, they'll sell you stuff, but only up to 49%, because they're going to remain and they're going to hold on to the controlling shares. We don't seem to have that same philosophy over here, and it has bitten us a bit. Uber misses revenue expectation with trips up 18% over last year. Ooh. Trump officials Bissett and Greer to meet with Chinese counterparts on the trade. All right. Disney. Let's go look. I think I got some stuff up here. Dow futures are up 212 points. S&P futures up 24. NASDAQ futures up 76. Oil is green, and U.S. 10-year bonds are green. It says the stock futures are up based on the China talks, and that may be why, but they always give you some kind of tagline, whether it's a fully accurate or not. Europe is all red, though. European markets edge lower as corporate earnings remain in focus. Novo Nordisk jumped 4%, though. Over in Asia, mostly green, except for the Nikkei. Nikkei is down 51 points. Asia Pacific stocks mostly climb as China lays out plans to ease policy. Let's look at crypto. Crypto is almost all green except for XRP. It's down barely 0.01, so it's going to probably flip green here in a minute. But Bitcoin's up 1,800. It's up at 96,000, coming up back to the 100K. Ethereum is up 40. It's at 1,828. Solana's at 147, and Dogecoin is at 0.17. All right, that's where we are on that. We already talked about the FOMC calendar. Let's see if anything's on investing.com that we might have missed. Crude oil, gas, heating, FOMC statement, FOMC press conference, consumer credit, 3:00. Okay, we got all those things. All righty, let's go see what Adam has to say this morning. Adam is a trader of the S&P futures. He has a Twitter. He does Twitter. He's a tweeter or Xer. One, if you're now doing X, are you a tweeter now, or are you an Xer? Probably an Xer. Y'all have to update my language because I'm still calling it tweeters. Anyway, he trades futures on the ES and we trade SPX. So I have to convert the numbers between those two, between ES and SPX. And at this point, the gap between those two is about 20 points. And the gap changes every quarter or so, I believe it is, because ES changes its nomenclature every quarter. And when it changes nomenclature, then the gap changes there as well. The way you can see the current nomenclature of the ES is really to check on Thinkorswim. I don't always see the updated one on TradingView, so I go and look on Thinkorswim because they keep up with it over there. /ES, and then the rest of the stuff after it let you know that you're on the right one. Okay, this week has been all about 5,600, which we saw yesterday. Listen, my trade dropped down to 5,600. Your girl got nervous. I jumped out, even though I really should have stayed because the price ran right back up and my trade would have been fine. But I got a little too nervous and I was like, let me just go and lock in this small loss. Better safe than sorry. It's all right, though. I still ended up with $900 and something in profits yesterday, even with that loss. But it would have been $400 more had I stayed there. But you know what? I'm grateful. Me and the Lord, we just trading on away, yes, and pulling in our profits every single day here in the Option Seller Zone. Me and my members, we're pulling it on in, dragging in the bag. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. To God be the glory. Giving all credit to Him Most High. This week has been all about 5,600. I took me a praise break there. Was y'all with me? Did y'all go on the praise break with me? Because I did take me a little praise break right there in the middle of it, right in the middle of talking about Adam. I took me a praise break because there was a time, and it wasn't very long ago. Let me take this off because I need to make sure that y'all can see me. There was a time, and it wasn't very long ago, where I was making $50 or $75 or $100 a day in profits, and I was excited about it. Believe me when I tell you I was excited, okay? And I was happily posting them in my Facebook post. I had a person who is a friend of mine who would come and say, you probably should just do that and not post this and that. People don't really care until it's here. Of course, I kept posting because I did not give a rip. All right. Because I was excited about my proceeds. All righty. We continue to stay with it. We continue to stick with it. We continue to get better. We continue to make more. We continue to hone our skills. We continue to improve our charting, continue to look at more things that we could use to help improve our credit spreads trades. And as a result of that, now I can post $1,000 a day profits, $900 a day profits, $1,300 a day profits. And not just me, but the folks who are in my membership. It's not just me. It's not just our Litsa who making profits. I want the people who with me to make profits too, because it's not just me taking me. Because I could take me. I would be on my own little jet ski if I was taking me, but I'm trying to take a cruise ship. I want people who with me. So when we have our trading buddies, when we're going on our trading trips, I got some friends who I've built relationship with that we're trading buddies and we're trading compadres. We can go together. So now I'm going to keep posting. Yes, I will keep posting, and I'm going to keep giving glory. Give him glory. Give him glory. I'm going to keep giving him glory. Glory. Yes. I'm going to keep giving him glory because, listen, you don't know like I know what he's done for me. Because listen, it's been some roads. I don't throw in this towel so many times. And every time I throw in that towel, the Lord go right back and get it and say, you pick this towel up and keep it pushing and cut this crap out. You got stuff to do. You got people to help. You got things to accomplish. All right. There we go. All right. So we got stuff to do today. And that includes taking the folks with us. And we taking whoever with us who willing to go. If you trying to go, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. That's what we're doing. Let's go. Let's go. All right. Let's go. Let's go. If you're trying to get it and get better and learn with us and grow with us, come on. Come on. Otherwise, you can sit by and watch. I love it when people engage with my posts. Believe me, I love it when you like it. I love it when you share it. I love it when you ask questions. I love it when you comment. I love all that. But I would love it even the more if you came into the membership and started to grow yourself. I would love that even the more, because that's really what I'm after. I'm trying to help as many people as possible to grow and to take them and to utilize the stock market to help grow their resources, because I think it's empowering. It's empowering because I don't want to feel like, I know for me, I like to feel like I got choices. I don't want to feel hopeless. And sometimes when you're faced with stuff that you got to buy or pay for and you want it and can't get it, or you want to go and got to figure out how you're going to afford it, I want to be able to say, I can do this and I can generate the resources to do this without putting a strain in other areas. That's me. Now, it may not be everybody, but that's me. I want to be able to feel like I'm empowered to go do that. And I want to empower other people to do that too. All right. Back to Adam. Carla said, I'm struggling to find the work-life balance. I know, Carla. I already know. I know there's a lot of people who do that. I want to trade. I want to work. I need to work so I can trade. Yeah. I know how that goes. But part of that balance comes. I know for me, I'll give you this piece of tip. What I had to do is I had to step back off of a lot of things I was doing. Earlier this year, the Lord spoke, was at the beginning of the end of last year, as I was thinking about and pondering and asking the Lord about what I needed to do going into 2025. And the Lord told me to cut out a bunch of stuff I was doing, which is why you've seen this year, and I talked about it. I quit doing all training outside of my membership. My job this year was to get it still is, not was, is. My job this year is to get the people in my membership profitable, to focus on the people who are in my membership and to focus on my own trading to get us all profitable consistently. I was profitable. I wasn't consistently profitable, but my job is to get us all consistently profitable. So that everything else, all the trainings outside, all of the extra things I was doing, all the hither and yon, all of the things I was here and there, the Lord was like, you are doing way too much. You way too much. I was in too much, doing too much, too many places, trying to be all the things to all the people. And the Lord was like, you doing the absolute most, and you're not doing anything well. Not doing anything well. I know some of y'all got more things to do than I do. I don't even have children at home. I have a husband, he's here, of course. I have a job. I teach at the university a couple days a week, and I have my membership, my training. I'm trying to be a good steward. So trying to manage my religion and my spirituality. That's important to me. I'm trying to keep my health in check. So I need to exercise, and that has to be a part of my life. Right. So I've got some pillars that are important to me, and those are where I need to focus, because I don't need to be wealthy and can't walk. Right. I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to be wealthy and can't afford to go nowhere because my health is jacked. That's not how I'm trying to live either. Nope. Okay. So that's where the balance comes in. That was just my tip. And that wasn't necessarily for Carla, but it could be. I mean, if that might be what you need, Carla, is to cut out some stuff. I was trying to do too many things, and it wasn't all the stuff that was all important. A lot of those things I'll do later. And if there's a later, and some of them I don't need to do, period. Period. Back to Adam. Sorry, I took a rabbit trail. Thank y'all for going with me. This week has been all about 5,600 and 5,630. Yesterday at 4:40 p.m., SPX, even though SPX doesn't run that late, put in the core long setup, failed breakdown of the day low to trigger long and squeezed 88 points. Squeeze. Carla said that might be me. It just might be, because when you asked me and I gave that answer, Carla, I felt like it was for you, but I don't know your life, but I'm saying I felt like that was for you. FOMC 2 p.m. We in too many things. And I'm saying we because I was too. We here, we're there, we're trying to be all the places and all the things. Nobody gave us a list of all this stuff we got to be doing. We can say no. We can say no. And I don't know if you have children, but your kids don't have to be in everything either. No, some of this stuff is a no, and they're gonna be fine. They ain't got to be in every dance, every sport, every this, every that. They don't be, you don't have to be in everything. They don't have to be in everything. All right. And it's okay. And they're gonna still be good, whole, well-rounded people. They're gonna be fine. All right. 5630 is now support, and it has held. Well, it had held. Let's see if it's still holding. SPX 500, because I'm looking at something else. No, 5630 has not held right now. It's not holding, but we'll see. It keeps 5647, 5669, and 5678 plus alive. If 5630 fails, then we dip to 5615 and 5600. All right. There we go. The gap between SPX and ES is 20 points. The XSP range is 560 to 568. So keep that in mind if you are trading XSP. That may be your range. Again, none of this is investment advice. I'm just sharing with you what we see here. All right. If you look at Adam, Adam tweets, he puts in X posts, and he has a newsletter. His newsletter is quite comprehensive. He's got lots to say, but it's good stuff. So if you're serious about trading the ES and SPX, Adam may be a resource you may want to get. Okay. This is our trades list for the week. I've not put our community in any of these trades because I was waiting till after FOMC, but I have seen that Google has popped a little bit this week. So you might want to, if you're watching that one, that may be one. Gold made some moves. Triple Q, I hadn't looked at Triple Q very much, but it's probably moving along with SPX. So as a put credit spread, I don't know. I haven't really watched these enough to know. The only one I might have a little bit idea about what might be a little bit of SPY, but I've not really watched these because I've said I was going to wait till after FOMC before I put our community into any of these. And we've been focused a little bit more on SPX, making sure that we pulled our money in Monday and Tuesday leading up to the day, so that even if we decide we are or are not going to trade as the week goes on, because you get to choose. We choose to trade. You don't have to trade. We get to trade. And if trading don't fit your life for a day or some part of the day, then you just don't. Listen, the market, I said already, the market ain't going nowhere. Then you just don't. All right. But this is our list for the week. All righty. Grab your free resource. Now I got to wind it up. The free resource, 3 things to check before you trade. 3 things to check before you trade. Go over to E2T freebies. E2T-freebies. And there's other free things over there too. This is the latest resource that I just created. I created it last week. You can go over there and grab that. It's a PDF you can download about 3 things you can check before you place a trade. All right. Go over there and grab that for yourself. All righty. There's lots of stuff over in there. Chart your way to 100K. I wanted to go back to the chart before I got here. So let me do that first. I got to remember to always go back to the chart before I hit that. Okay, remove from the stage, add to the stage. There we go. I can turn off my VWAP so we can still see. And we'll go to the daily chart. This is SPY we're looking at. Looking at SPY. Looks like SPY filled a little bit of the gap that was created, that was left over. I told you there was a little bit of gap that was left back there. Looks like it filled some of it yesterday. Some of that drop filled it yesterday. This is what's left on that gap. And here, this is what's left after that candle filled it. And all of this gap here, y'all see how that wick went up there, filled that whole gap? We're talking gaps on the call yesterday, and yesterday's wick went up there and filled all of that. That yesterday's price action filled that big old gap. All right. So what the gap that's left now is from 556 down 556. Well, no, let me go. It's more than that. It's really more like this. So the gap is from 554 all the way to 556.99 or 557. Okay, that is still the gap that remains. There is some resistance up in here in the 556.60 area. I did not mean to put two lines there. I just won't run. Okay. Looks like we definitely had a seller zone, a seller little setup up here. These long wicks show us that there is some more downwards action. Perhaps it'll fill this gap and do its thing. We're currently at 560 in the pre-market. Currently at 560 with some more support at 547. That's a good little bit away. The bottom of this gap is also going to provide some support. We're in this same general vicinity, right around 555. But this gap will also provide some. All right, that's SPY for the morning. Woo woo. Triple Q looks very similar. No shock there. All right. Evening star pattern, if you want to call it that. Yeah, I need to put the picture into our slides for this month's candle pattern. What is this month's candle pattern? The spinning top. There's a spinning top pattern. If you're looking at your Candlestick Mastery calendar that I put out, this month is the spinning top. Part of this gap from a few days ago, from Wednesday to Thursday of last week, part of that gap got filled. There's a little bit left for Triple Q. Current price on Triple Q in the pre-market is 482. We're about 11 minutes before the market opens. This gap that was from Thursday to Friday of last week has been filled by yesterday's price action. So there, that's gone. 467 is some support, and the bottom of this gap at 475 is also going to provide some support. There's something happening in here. There's some moving averages in here, and the moving averages are also going to provide support and resistance. Just know moving averages, which is right here at 482, moving averages also provide support and resistance. All right. And then let's look at IWM. Similar patterns. They all kind of look the same, don't they? As they say, don't they? This gap that I had on here yesterday, I put it on yesterday morning. The price action of yesterday actually filled the gap. 198 is the current price of IWM. It does still have a gap above that starts at 201. Gap above that starts at 201. All righty. Chart your way to 100K stock chart training course. If you don't know how to chart, or you don't know what I'm talking about with the gaps and support and resistance and how moving averages work, then you need to be getting yourself into that training class. All right. Strategies that we use for training: weekly credit spreads, daily credit spreads, cash secure puts, and covered calls. I put a whole list of cash secure puts in our membership training for this morning because we're trying to acquire shares along the way. We're not just making money with options. We're making money with options so we can go buy shares with it, because the whole thing we're looking for in the midst of all of this is assets. We're not just looking for money, because money will come and go. We know this. Assets. You can hold on to them mugs. You trying to hold on to the assets. That's what you can pass down as assets. We can't pass down options contracts, but we can pass shares to our family. We can borrow against shares. You can't borrow against no options contracts. All right. So we need to acquire shares. That's what makes us owners of companies, when we own some stuff. All right. SPXplaybook.com is one of the strategies that we use every afternoon to generate resources from SPX. You can grab you a copy at SPXplaybook.com for $27. I hope I hit the M before I hit that. It did not. That needs to have an M on it. http://SPXplaybook.com. I hit the enter button too fast. All right. One-on-one coaching. Sometimes you just need somebody to help point you in the right direction. Maybe you're doing a lot of the things right, or you're trying to hook up with a community that's trying to charge you a bunch of money for all these different resources that you do not need. All right. You don't need a bunch of stuff. You don't. I was on with a guy yesterday with the one-on-one call. This community want him to have this and this and this and platform. You don't need all that. All right. A broker, a chart. That's all you need. A broker and a chart. This is what you need. All right. And then somebody who's going to help guide you, somebody who's going to, that you can directly ask a question. If you're in a community and you can't ask the leader a question, you need to find another community. Okay, I'm just going to put it just like that. If you're in a community paying that person your money and you cannot ask the leader a question, you need to find someplace else to be. Okay. And I'm not saying you ask them a million questions and tax them and overtax them, but you need to be able to ask the person in that community that you're paying your money to. You need to be able to ask them a question and have them to respond. And if you can't do that, find another place. All right. One-on-one coaching. You can head over to my website and you can get yourself one-on-one coaching. If you're over on LinkedIn, please come on and follow me on LinkedIn. I'm trying to grow this LinkedIn area. Different vibe over on LinkedIn. A lot more educational. Yeah. All right, here we go. E2T trader declaration. I declare I'm a great trader, a successful trader, and a focused trader. I declare my wins exceed my losses, my accounts growing steadily. I'm a wise and knowledgeable trader. I have a strategy that I use for my trades. I don't randomly place trades. I'm a level-headed trader who trades my plan and not my emotions. Lord, it's you who gives us the power to get wealth. Help us today to trade our strategy with wisdom and knowledge. Allow us to prosper enough to have what we need and enough to bless others. In Jesus' name, amen, amen, amen. All righty. So I have done and said all and done, and the market's going to open in about 5 minutes. If you're a seller, your job now is to watch. Your job is to watch what happens, see how things open, see how stuff moves. After 15 minutes, you're going to put on your opening range, see what happens in the first 15 minutes. But what you're not going to do as a seller is jump out there opening any trades. Not as a seller. You're watching. Now, if you got some stuff that you opened and you need to close it first 15, then yep, do that. But if you're a seller, we're not opening. Sellers aren't opening nothing in the first 15 minutes. No, we watching. We letting the buyers, whoever buying options, where they buying calls or puts, we letting them come on in and put their money in so that the sellers, us, can come on in and collect those premiums after the buyers start to establish themselves. You know, if you're buying, somebody's buying options, somebody's selling them. Guess who the sellers are? Us. And who's taking those premiums? Us. We're going to wait till all the buyers get themselves in position. And then we step in as sellers and say, okay, I'll take that. I'll take that. I'll take that. And then we establish our sale. We don't rush in at 9:30. All right. We do not. Actually, sellers don't really get active till after 10. All righty. Okay, everybody, we're going to do our 2 things, maybe even 3. We're going to stay green. We're going to get this money and we're